Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Listen, XRP just got a DeFi upgrade that Bitcoin and Doge literally can't copy. And it's live right now on Songbird. Flare's FAssets version 1.1 uses the XRP ledger's escrow feature to enable unlimited FXRP minting through a new core vault design. Why Bitcoin or Doge can't follow suit? Because they don't have the native escrow feature. And without it, you can't scale trustless, I would say unlimited minting. But it gets even bigger. Later this year, Flare is going to roll out the protocol managed wallets with secure multi-sig powered by trusted hardware, unlocking Bitcoin, Doge, and XRP bridges the right way. We're going to get into it. I'm going to show you what this means for XRPFi and why this puts this puts XRP ahead in the race for institutional DeFi. Let's go. Happy freaking Friday. Does my sound on? My sound's on. Happy Friday to each and every one of you. Did you catch that interview today? Did you catch it with Hugo and Jake? Did you catch that interview? What they're building over there? Let's not sleep. Flare Networks is building the Super DApp. It's going to be built on Flare. You got to understand that part of it. Their first product is XRP5. They're attacking right now, currently, with one product, $146 billion market. Next one, Bitcoin. 30. What was that? The total market was 33 trillion. Oh, yeah. When Doge was big as well, right? You got to understand what's going on with Flare's building. Let me tell you. And if you didn't catch Crypto Eddie's latest video, what's going on right now? I thought you were into FLR. I thought you were into Flare. I thought you were into XRP. Did you catch her latest video? Looks like we discovered who the decentralized prime broker is going to be. Looks like we found out who that's going to be, Barbie. Looks like we found out who that's going to be. What's going on right now? Happy Friday. Look, we're gonna, you know how Raul Paul has drinks with Raul? Yeah, that's right. Favorite libation. And guess what we got? That's what we got. We got what Raul Paul don't have what we got, right? We got holy bread from the monastery. Raul Paul ain't going 200 yards from a monastery. I got you, Raul. I got you, bro. And we got some cheese from the monastery as well. Now what? Now what, Raul? Now what? You can't. You guys know I'm a big fan of Raul Paul and Real Vision, right? Right? Man, happy Friday. Did you catch those clips from Crypto Eddie? I'm just saying, what's going on right now? Hugo in the interview with Jake dropping some freaking nuggets. Bitcoin hit 111,000, nearly 112,000. Life is good. It's pulled back to about 108. That's awesome. Yeah, things are starting to cook up a little bit, but I just got to tell you, I don't know, but maybe I'm going to be proven right when I said that Flare Networks is further along in bringing value to XRP holders. Yeah. Now we've done some videos on the TradFi products like depository receipts and structured notes, and how that's going to play in a big time way to creating storage demand for the native asset XRP. Sure. But I got to tell you something. What Flare Networks is building out with this FAssets is a big time value add to XRP holders and eventually Bitcoin and eventually Doge holders. By the way, you got until June 20th to redeem that XRP, get your collateral out of that off of Songbird. We'll go over that as well. I don't know how much of that interview you guys want to watch. I'm sure you caught it with Hugo and Jake Cleaver today. I'm sure you guys caught that, but yeah, I don't know how much we're going to cover. I'm going to cover some clips. I think Steve from Flare Forward did a couple of clips. I'm going to cover that with you guys. Then I'm going to cover the clips from Crypto Eddie as well. Maybe we'll go over that interview. It was pretty cool. Maybe we'll tap into some parts of that interview. It's a very, very interesting interview that Hugo did today as well. So Billionaire H is in the building. What's going on, bro? Happy Friday. What we got going on here? Pookie was first in the building. Barbie checked in. Top of the evening to your seats. Top of the evening, Barbie. Legendary's in the building. What's good, bro? Legendary's about 3 trillion, right, for Bitcoin. Look, it's going to be good. Yeah, definitely a solid interview with Jake. Yeah, it was decent. Hugo was dropping some bombs. He was letting us know it's imminent. Look, did you guys go to the Oracle Daemon today and see that note where you mint your FAssets? You see that little note? You got to exit out of there, redeem the FXRP by June 20th. The note said, and I'm going to share with it, it said we're going live on Flare with v1.1 on Flare mainnet. June 20th, you got to get it off there. So we'll go through that as well. We'll go over these numbers real quick. I'm going to refresh CoinGecko so we can check the market. We all know what's going on with the market. We all know that the market is doing what the market does. We'll go over that. I'll refresh CoinGecko, go over these numbers real quick. And then I'm going to get into a couple of these clips from Steve from Flare Forward. He clipped up some stuff for us. We'll get into that as well. I don't know why people are panicking about that CETUS protocol stuff. I don't understand it. But anyway, that's just how it is. You know, people don't understand. The people that mostly are panicking are the ones who are chasing the APRs and APYs just because they're not understanding what's really going on. All right, so let's refresh. Let's go. Let's share this with the fam so you guys can see these numbers real quick. We'll go over that, and then I'll pull up Steven's clips over at Flare Forward. Flare Forward is over there doing their thing. They are over there doing their thing, fam. Make sure you follow those guys on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Flare Forward. All right, so what do I want to do? Where is my dominance? Oh, there it is. All right, so according to CoinGecko, the total cryptocurrency market cap in the last 24 hours is down 5.5%. And is at 3.5 trillion. 3.5 trillion. Dominance. Oh, I guess you're adding no, that wouldn't make sense either. Bitcoin dominance. No, let me get the live Bitcoin dominance. See what's good. CoinGecko has it at 61%. Let's see what the live Bitcoin dominance is. Yeah, 64%. 64%. Trading view, Bitcoin dominance, 64%. 64%. It's hanging out in the 63 to 64% range. Hanging out. It spiked a little there and it's back down. So that's the Bitcoin dominance. Let's go with these numbers. Bitcoin currently is up 14.5% and trading at $107,000. Ethereum is up nearly 40% on the 30-day and is currently trading at $2,520. XRP is on the 30-day is up 3.5% and is trading at $2.31. Solana on the 30-day is up 15.5%, trading at $174. Dogecoin is up nearly 27% and on the 30-day and is trading at 22 cents. The beloved SOE is up nearly 21% on the 30-day, trading at $3.60. Hyperliquid's screaming for those who might want to chase But that is the market, fam. And the market is doing what the market does. It's just doing what it does. All right, let me welcome some more people to the stream. Then I'm going to find Steve's stuff. Some Chardonnay, bro. Middle of the road Chardonnay. Legendary says, I've never lost faith in Hugo and FLR. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. All right, let me find this Steven thing. Pull up his clips. How many do I have from Steve? I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, Brad's out. Brad Garlinghouse is out celebrating. R3 is hooking up with a blockchain other than the XRPL. Oh man. All right. So which one? Let's see. What? All right. Yeah, I'll do this one. All right, I got it. I'll share it. I'll share it that way. Let me share this first clip with you guys. Mm, mm. I'm telling you, those Crypto Eddie clips. I'm telling you, I'm gonna share it. Man, I can't wait to see that full interview. All right, so Steve, a guy over at Flare Forward, shared this with us. Hey, crypto fam, Hugo just dropped major news with this decentralized prime broker. Whoops, did I say that? I've been saying it. It's huge for Flare Networks and DeFi, and let's see where this goes. Looks like we know who it is from Crypto Eddie if you watch the clips. All right, let's take a listen.
When needed. And we are working with a partner to build really quite a sophisticated.
What the world?
We are working with a partner to build really quite a sophisticated product that takes advantage of our protocol managed wallets and the compute the protocol managed wallets effectively sits in, which is called a trusted execution environment. To build a very sophisticated risk model that allows a protocol to be built on Flare that can lend against people's positions on multiple chains that Flare is connected
to. They can lend against multiple positions. Look, this is like margin. This is what, one of the key things that prime brokers do. Just to let you know, we talked about it because I pointed out, Barbie. I pointed out immediately when Hugo Fillion posted, tweeted, X'd out about Ripple's purchase of Hidden Road. I mean, immediately I took to the airways and I said, isn't it interesting? And I don't know, I think he did it in a spaces originally, then he posted about it. So that's interesting. And he brought up the idea of a decentralized prime broker. All right, let's take a listen to this one. This is what Steve has to say about this video. I've got the video of Hugo Fillion's answer ready for you. Who does he pick? Who does he pick to bring the most XRP to Flare Networks? Another post that I pointed out to you about Hugo letting people know what's good about what's going to happen with XRP5. It says here, watch it now and drop your thoughts below. It's a game changer for Flare, and I'm pumped to hear what you think. All right, let me.
will be important. So there's a very large amount of institutions sitting on very, very large amounts of XRP. So, whilst I think retail will be important, I think really the very large slugs of XRP that come into Flare will come in from institutions. So there's a very.
He thinks he doesn't think, he knows. He knows the vast amount of XRP is going to be coming in from institution. Now, someone had some little, I guess maybe a chat GPT thing. What institutions hold the most XRP? And it was a bunch of exchanges. I don't know if those qualify as an institution. I don't know. I guess they do. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If we're here, if we hold both the FLR tokens and the asset XRP, we are in a good spot. We're in a very, very, very good spot. And like I said once, I'll say it again, Flare Networks is further along the path of bringing value to XRP holders than any other project. Further along to XRP holders. And for me, when I say XRP holders, I'm not talking about institutions. I'm talking about retail XRP holders. Not so concerned about institutions. To be frank with you, not too concerned. Let me cover this real quick. Which one do I want to do? Let me do this R3 thing first. Can we just get this out of the way? I just want to get the drama out of the way. Okay. R3 posted the convergence of public and private blockchains is happening now. R3's Corda, the world's largest collection of permissioned RWA networks with over 10 billion in regulated assets on chain across its platforms, is integrated with the world's most used public blockchain, Solana. For the first time, institutions using Corda will be able to settle directly on a public blockchain. They had choices. They chose the Solana blockchain. You can make of that what you will. Moonchaser said, hate to say, I told you so. To the XRP hype squad claiming Corda runs on XRPL. Looks like R3 slid into the Solana DMs instead. That's funny. Congrats. So look, that's the news. I know people are going to get all in their, get their underwear in a bunch and all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. It is what it is. Meanwhile, Brad Garlinghouse is talking about ETFs and CME and all other kind of stuff. All right, so listen. First time, but certainly not the last, on Ripple's Crypto in 1 minute. It's happening. Institutional access to crypto is accelerating from the launch of XRP futures and ETFs and on CME and NASDAQ just this week. It's clear that the market is maturing and exposure to crypto is expanding. This is a big deal. CME and NASDAQ, it's a big deal because things are coming. Things are coming. But David Schwartz just recently said that the path to Ripple's vision is first through DeFi. Which is what I've been saying on the channel for years. Stop messing around with all that off-chain stuff. Do stuff on-chain. That's where the low-hanging fruit is and has always been. The reason why Solana is the most public used blockchain right now is because they took the low-hanging fruit approach. That's why. It doesn't mean it's the superior technology. That don't matter. What matters is the adoption of the chain. That's what matters. Technologies get better over time. But you got to have adoption. This is right. So that's what R3 said. The world's most used public blockchain, Solana. Right? So this futures and the payments vision for XRP going to be DeFi, institutions hopping on chain, taking advantage, right, of how that works on the chain, not something on the chain. Let's get on the chain. Let's build a group. Let's build up network adoption, build all the other different kind of stuff. Meanwhile, more and more on and off ramps are going to come. More and more on and off ramps are going to come. Why are they going to come? Because of demand. Because there's demand. That's why they're going to come. Every time you turn around, there's a new on and off ramp for Solana. Every time you turn around. Now they got freaking their version of freaking PlayStations. Oh, do you understand? You got to build. You got to build out the congregation. You got to build out the community. They took that approach. That's why it's working for them. Doesn't it didn't matter that their technology is not superior. I just keep trying to tell people it don't matter. It's going to get better, and they haven't even launched that thing that they're supposed to be launching. I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, I digress. So let me go over what I want to go over before I show this clips from Crypto Eddie. Let's do this real quick so we know. Okay, Flare Networks put this out. Farewell for now. The wind down of FDoge on FAssets v1.1 has officially begun. Nearly 60,000 FDoge still needs to be redeemed. Don't wait. Redeem or swap before June 21st or risk being stuck with unredeemable FDoge. That's FDoge. Okay. That's FDoge. But if you go here, this is the notice I got going on right now. This says June 20th, so I don't know. Redeem your remaining FDoge by June 20th. As we are launching v1.1 on Flare, we won't be supporting FDoge until version 2 is launched. So what it means for FDoge, minting is paused. You should remove collateral from the pools. Redeem before June 20th for the people who minted that FDoge. Okay? Public service announcement, a little PSA. All right. This is a little interesting message from Flare. Then I'm going to get to the chat before I get into Crypto Eddie's clips. I'm telling you. 26, you're going to want to see, you're going to want to hear those clips. If you're an XRP holder and an FLR holder, you're going to want to watch those clips. 26% of you told us you don't know what FXRP is. FXRP brings XRP into DeFi securely with full custody retained. If you're into XRP utility, you will want to watch this. Let's take a listen. This is 2 minutes. Interesting. 2 minutes. All right. Let's take a listen.
Today, the total value of all public blockchain assets is approximately $3.5 trillion. However, more than 70% of this value is made up of tokens from blockchains that can't support smart contracts, a critical requirement for decentralized applications. Built on Flare's core protocols, the FAssets system allows these assets such as Bitcoin, XRP, and Dogecoin to be smart contract ready on Flare. Minting these tokens as FAssets enables holders to participate in staking and yield generating protocols. For developers on Flare, this means secure, trustless access to a vast amount of currently untapped value and new potential users to securely represent these assets on a smart contract chain without requiring a centralized third party. The FAssets system relies upon Flare's native data acquisition protocols. Firstly, the Flare Time Series Oracle for decentralized price feeds, and secondly, the Flare Data Connector for trustless verification of transactions on the underlying chain. FAssets are backed by 3 asset types: the underlying Flare, native token, collateral, and stable coin. The process of minting and redeeming FAssets is supported by independent agents. Their role in the system is secured through over-collateralization by maintaining a strict collateral ratio of 1.3 times more than the underlying assets. To mint FAssets, the minters must first select an agent and pay them a small fee to reserve the required collateral. The miner then sends the agent the underlying asset with the Flare Data Connector used to prove the transactions taking place on the other chain. With the payment verified, the FAssets are then minted as ERC20 tokens on Flare. These tokens can be used within DeFi on Flare. FAsset unlocks the value of non-contract tokens and makes it DeFi ready. FAssets has multi-layered security, such as time-locked escrows with ongoing bug bounties and audits. By converting XRP into FXRP, users can leverage them in various DeFi applications on Flare, such as lending and borrowing, and staking, thus unlocking additional earning opportunities.
So that's our guy, Flare Community, just so you know. That's our guy, Flare Community. He's he's a developer as well. He's got an NFT collection as well. I think it's called Bones. I mean, he has an NFT collection as well. This is what I talk about, Joe Buddy, all the time. When I say you got to build, you got to go out. How should I put it? You have to create and or build the choir. You got to build a choir that takes the message out to the congregation. For that community is a prime example of the choir, the choir, taking the message out to the congregation. You can't just be relying on Hugo. That is not going to work. You got to build the choir to take the message to the congregation. It's important. He does a really, really good job of explaining stuff, editing, and all of the kind of things he does. It's awesome. He's awesome at doing it. And I think Sarah is really, really good as well. You need that side. You need that side of the choir as well, right? It's important. Put together the choir, bro, to take the message to the congregation. That's how you'll get network adoption of the blockchain. I promise you, it works all the time. It works every single time. Every single time. Who else checked in? Let's see. Cali Cat's in the building. What's going on, Cali Cat? Alex G is here. The Blue Rangers are in the building. What's going on, Alex G? Be safe on those roads, bro. If you're traveling, be safe in the roads, brother. All right, who else came in and said, hey, to Cali Cat? Rick Cisneros is here. What's going on, bro? CJ, I have a prediction. Listen to Hugo, both the protocol managers, wallets, and TEE will abstract value from stocks like Apple, 3 trillion in value. Hidden Roads and Flare will be involved in the future when regs are in place. Yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. It makes perfectly good sense. Remember, the PMWs, the TEEs, and the compute, they come in together. When they come together, it's going to be an awesome thing. You know, I've been on record saying that I believe Flare Networks is going to be the thing that Ethereum hoped to be. You know, Flare blockchain, Flare Networks, is a layer 1 EVM blockchain that is growing and bringing on more feature sets and just figuring things out in big play. Listen, Google is not hanging out with Flare Networks. I mean, Google, they are not attaching their name and hanging out with something. I'm just saying. And Google has a little reputation for some stuff. I'm just saying. It ain't no just because. It's not just because. That's a good, interesting thought, Rick. Very interesting thought, my guy. Joe Buddy says, you got a connection to Flare, CJ? Connection. What do you mean by connection, buddy? What do you mean connection? I'd like to visit their headquarters, and get a real idea as to where they are going firsthand. I see Flare as my possible next big bag for the 2029 bull run. I have no connections to Flare. None at all. I'm going to interview Hugo, but I don't have any connections to anyone there. An interview with Hugo is going to be fun. Promise. Joe Buddy, Ripple ain't a low-hanging fruit company. They clearly are going for the big boys. Most used don't mean the best. Yeah. So no, Ripple's not a low-hanging fruit. No, people in low-hanging fruit in that particular analogy or example was, if you're a crypto project, the low-hanging fruit are the people already in crypto. That's the low-hanging fruit. The people who are already in crypto. Right? That's what low-hanging fruit is. The people in crypto. That's who Solana went after. They went after the people already in crypto. Not what Ripple did. What Ripple did initially is what a lot of tech people, a lot of biotech people do. They got great ideas. And what they do is they have a vision for something, and they like, oh, that's the market right there. And so they take their vision of what they have and they go to this market, right? But they never figured out what the market wanted. What the market wanted, right? So if you're a blockchain infrastructure company, right? If that's what you are, why are you going outside of the blockchain trying to bring people into it? That's what they were doing, right? They were trying to bring people in with their stuff. No, build stuff for the people already in. Of course, payments are an awesome thing, but the banks told Ripple flat out, we're not really that interested in payments. That's what David Schwartz said that they told him, right? So they didn't go attack the low hanging fruit. They didn't go attack the low hanging fruit. They didn't attack that. They went out and tried to sell them on something that the vision that they had, but they weren't interested in it, right? They weren't interested. Is the technology a mess over there in the banking system? Of course. Is it antiquated? Of course. Is it old, slow, expensive? Of course. But the customer was not interested in the product that Ripple had. That was the problem. That was the problem. Flare took a different approach. They took a different approach. You gotta, and so does Solana. You gotta attack the low hanging fruit. And when the banks are ready, they'll be ready, and you'll have the technology. But you gotta attack that. That's why bringing it on chain, what they're doing on chain, is massive. It's absolutely massive. And when I mean the banks, I mean the big banks. They went after the big banks. JP Morgan showed up their door with 15 people for a reason. Right? For a reason. Rick Cisneros says, why is Solana's on and off ramp so big? Because Solana wants to scale to 1 billion users. To 1 billion users, here's where XRP needs to understand. It's more like Ripple needs to understand that. Needs to understand, build a protocol for 1 billion users. Simple, not just good tech. 1 billion users. Users. Not just good tech. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Alex G says, at a warehouse right now. Oh, okay. Be safe, bro. All kinds of stable coins are coming on the ledger. Yeah, don't those, that Euro thing and some other, those are interesting things. I saw that announcement. I'm like, what the world? The bearable bull showed his face. Joe Buddy said, did y'all catch the bearable bull face reveal? No, I didn't catch that. Interesting. That's a good way of putting it, Joe. What's going on, Pay Me an FXRP? How are you? Here and accounted for, sir. Listening while trucking through Iowa, burning miles. Oh, I hear you, my guy. Be safe on the roads, bro. Joe says Solana is taking lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's bumper to bumper traffic. Ripple is building its private HOV lane. Who gets to the top first? 4 lanes of bumper to bumper Solana or HOV VIP style in Ripple? Who gets there first? I don't know. I know who's first now. I know who's in first place right now. The race is not over, but I know who's in first now. It's not Ripple. It's not the XRPL. More importantly, remember, Ripple is a company on the XRPL. Ripple is not the XRPL. Solana is a blockchain. Right? Solana is a blockchain with lots of projects on there and lots of developers, lots of builders. The XRPL is not that. The XRPL is good tech. It doesn't have a lot of projects and a lot of devs on there. David Schwartz said that. And he also said he said it was hard to learn how to build on the XRPL. That's what he said. And that's why they hooked up with EZA. Right? And that's the big difference. Flare had the benefit of learning from the Bitcoin people, the Ethereum people, and the XRPL people. That happens a lot in business, especially in tech. Happens a lot in business and especially in tech. And if there was a blockbuster and now there's a Netflix, that can be an Ethereum and then a Flare Networks. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it could happen. And it happens all the time. There was Yahoo, and then there was Google. It is what it is. But who knows what's going to happen, but I'm just telling you what it's feeling like. They still got to execute. Flare Network still has to execute. If you ask me who would I hold in my 90% bucket, ETH or FLR, it would be ETH every day of the week and twice on Sunday. In the 90% bucket. But the up-and-comer, baby, Flare Networks in that 10% bag. Ooh. Are you paying attention to what they're building out? Are you really paying attention? And here we are hanging out at around 2 cents. I don't understand why people don't understand. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Solana was somewhere around 2 cents at one time. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. We say it all the time on the channel all the time, Barbara. Early to a groundbreaking, game-changing layer 1 is a blessing. It's a blessing. And that's what we were blessed to do. And they reached out to guess what they reached out to? It's a prime example. Who did Flare Networks reach out to? Arguably the largest, most convicted community. And then they came with a solution to their problem, our problem. What's that? No utility for the asset that we hold. Do you understand? It's exactly what they did. The largest, most convicted community in the space. That is what you call low-hanging fruit. Now, you identify what it is that they need, want, desire, and you go build that thing. That's what Flare Networks did. I mean, it's really that simple. That's what they did. That's what they're doing. That's what they are highly focused and committed to doing. according to Hugo. Highly uber focused. And because of that, they brought in more people who saw that vision. Low hanging fruit. Find a need and fill it. It's just simple business. It's business 101. That's what they did. That's what they did. And the numbers are proving out right now. People are hungry for some stuff, for some utility. They're tired of hearing people call themselves utility maxis and not putting their XRP to use, not being able to put it to use. We're going to have staking. We're going to have lending and borrowing. Just that is enough for me. And I'll take the LP pools. I'll take the LP pools. LPing, DeFi and the LPing is easy. It's freaking easy if you know what you're doing. It's easy to win if you know what you're doing. I don't need to be learning about no AMM. Why isn't Flare Networks teaching me some AMM stuff? I don't know. Why aren't they teaching me AMM and continuous auction mechanisms? Why? Unfortunately, that's all you keep getting from these devs over at Ripple. There's all this technical stuff. It's features. They keep selling you features. They're not talking about the benefits. They keep talking about the features. No one's interested, bro. Tell me about the benefits. Take some freaking, don't go to school, the university, to learn marketing. Learn marketing. Okay, Ripple? Learn marketing. No one's interested in the benefits. No one's interested in the features. Tell me about the benefits. Share the vision of the benefits. What do you want me to say? This is what they're doing over at Play Networks. I don't know how to put it any other way. It's clear as day to me. They got their feet up underneath them, as we like to say. They're figuring things out. Hugo's on the journey of the CEO. He's figuring stuff out. I like it so far. I like it. I'm going to be there all the way. That's right, Legendary. Pookie says, I understand, CJ, all capitals. I know you do, bro. Move Accordingly is in the building. What's going on, my friend? Hope all is well. How is everyone? Everybody say hey to Move Accordingly. Barbie says, I agree 100%, CJ. ETH can only fantasize being as great as FLR. Yeah. They made some mistakes, man. They got a little unfair advantage from the SEC and all of the kind of madness. Those are the facts, and they are not in dispute. But they just lost their way a little bit. Lost their way. They're regrouping. They're trying to figure out, what they're saying is, oh, man. One of the things, why do we do these layer 2 things? Why do we give up? They gave, what's that saying when you give up the house and the kitchen and all? They gave a lot of stuff up to those layer 2s. They have to figure out some stuff. It's not to say that they can't. Yahoo's still around. Y'all acting like Yahoo's and Burger King went bankrupt. That's what all the ETH holders are doing. They're panicking like Burger King and Yahoo went bankrupt. They ain't go bankrupt. I mean, Blockbusters did, but Yahoo didn't. Neither did Burger King. So they can figure it out. Payment XRP says, I appreciate you more than you know, CJ. More need to hear. Somebody's got to say it. Oh, you're welcome, man. I'm glad I could be here, bro. Joe says, please try to interview him in the headquarters Scope it out for us, CJ. Aren't they? They didn't move stateside yet, right? The HQ, they don't have an HQ stateside, right? I don't think they do. Rick says this is why Sui moved to an almost top 10 coin in less than 2 years because they had a vision to scale into 1 billion users. This is exactly right. You know, I mean, this was the talk from I think Brito and maybe prior to Brito. That was the talk in the XRPL community, XRPL thing, right? I don't know if it was Arthur Brito or if it was the guy before Brito, and I can't remember his name. The original Fugger, you know, the billion users. But that pivot to payments, look, they came to a fork in the road and they came to a fork in the road way back yonder and said, smart contracts, payments. Smart contracts, payments. Smart contracts, payments. Smart. You know, it is what it is. XRP is not going anywhere. XRP will be part of the new financial system without question because the liquidity is cray-cray. The XRPL is a monster. Let's not get it twisted. The XRPL is a monster. They took the long way around. That's all. One project on the XRPL who unfortunately had a gatekeeping provision. Took the long way around. They went the long way around. That's all. They just went the long way around. That's all. It's okay. We're going to get there. But in the meanwhile, XRP holders are going to benefit, and Flair's built it out in a way that both XRP holders and FLR token holders are going to benefit. It's kind of genius what they're building out. And one of the main reasons why it's still in the 10% bucket is it's not built out yet. It's not built out yet. It's not Ethereum, man. Come on. It's not Ethereum. Okay? It's not Solana. There's a massive promise, but it's not realized yet. Ethereum, with all its flaws, has a massive realized promise. Solana breaking 2 and 3, 4 or 5 times as a massive realized promise. Right? And in my house, we bet on the realized promise, not as far as in weight, not the unrealized. You gotta weight it accordingly, in my opinion. I'm not telling you what to do, but that's what we do in our home. Right? We don't chase the game payment XRP. We let the game come to us. Once you get that right, you got to read the right books. Understand that. Took me a minute. I was heavily lopsided between my XRP and Bitcoin. It was the wrong side. It was not sized right. It wasn't weighted correctly. Yeah. I mean listen, that lawsuit, Rick Cesaneto says, in all fairness, the XRP and the XRPO were in a 4-year lawsuit. I'm still going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but my patience runs thin. Yeah, that hurt. That slowed them down because I think if they were not distracted in defending themselves, they would have come to the conclusion of on-chain sooner. But there was just, look, you understand? They would have come to it sooner. There's no doubt in my mind. David's a smart guy. He would have come to that conclusion sooner. He would have been willing to have more open conversations sooner. Remember, he moved towards the little nick, a little nudge on smart contracts because he was open to listen to some people. right? But if you were in a lawsuit, maybe you're not taking meetings. You got trying to figure out how to stay alive and not be killed like the SEC was trying to do. So sure, they would have come to that sooner, without question. I don't understand why people are complaining about this airdrop payment XRP. Like Chardonnay, bro, Chardonnay, Joe. I don't understand. Like I don't understand it. So I just I don't understand the whole airdrop thing. Like okay, you were supposed to get more, but you got less. You were supposed to get more, but you got less. But you got some for doing no thing. Literally for doing no thing. For not taking your dirty, nasty fiat, going working 40 hours and taking dirty, nasty fiat to buy that amount of FLR that you got. You did no thing for that. I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand it. I got like almost $4,000 worth of FLR stuck in Celsius. Like, well, what are you going to do about it? I did all I can do. Just about all I can do. But my land, come on already. Are we not paying attention to what Flare Networks is doing for for XRP holders right now? I mean, what the world? Oh, but they like you gotta be careful who you listen to. I gotta tell you that. You gotta be careful too. You get caught up in that madness over there with the XRP entertaining content creators, you'll be lost. You find yourself on the edge with Susie, what they call it. You gotta be careful over there. Legendary says he's talking to pay me, but he said never look a gift horse in the mouth. I just took my FLR and delegated and said thank you, Hugo. I'm like, come on, already. I don't understand, man. What's going on, Whiskey Biscuits? How are you, my friend? Like, come on, already. Just what are we talking about here? Like, what are we talking about? Miguel Castillo, what's going on, bro? Miguel Castillo says XRP holders were promised one thing, and Flare changed the airdrop. When you are a new project, your word is important. It was more about the reputation of Hugo than the actual amount of Flare given. Yeah, yeah. As a CEO, you're going to do things and you're going to make mistakes, especially if a startup. XRP holders should understand that, right? Startups are startups. They make mistakes, they pivot, they change. Flare Network's pivot to expand its ecosystem is great for FLR holders. But as your startup, you're going to do that. You're going to do that. Oh, Joe says I didn't buy. I bought all my FLR. I hear you, bro. I had no XRP at all at the airdrop snapshot. Oh, really? How about that, Joe? Nice. So yeah, I mean, people can look at. Well, I don't know if it was a promise. I don't know if the word promise is the right word, Miguel. But in any case, the biggest value add to XRP holders has been Flare Networks, not Ripple. It has been Flare Networks to XRP holders, retail XRP holders. Now, I think they moved that little legendary. I think they moved that little gatekeeping thing that they had in place there. I think that's been removed. So, so for the longest time, if validators, projects, or builders wanted to do some kind of anything improvement, it's like a lot of people thought, oh, okay, the validators and UNLs, they'll just vote on it and stuff. Submit the proposal. No, it has to go through Ripple first. And then if they say, oh, okay, like that seemed like that's what it used to be. It was like a little gatekeeper there. But I think that's been removed. Payment XRP. I really like to know who these institutions are that Hugo speaks of. Yeah, it's coming. Payment XRP says, I'd really like to know who these institutions are that Hugo speaks of that are chomping at the bit for XRP5. Retail seems secondary, and I like that. Yeah, well, I think retail is secondary in the amount of XRP that retail holders hold. It's not secondary in what Flare Networks is trying to and who they're addressing, right? Who they're addressing, what's their market, what's their target market. It is without question is retail. Who they're trying to bring value to for sure. But it's just the fact of the matter. If an exchange, for example, is counted as an institution, they hold more XRP. Right? So I don't know what qualifies as institutions. Legendary says, I say Hugo did the right thing with the airdrop. I agree. Like the only thing I thought was when they first addressed the community, I thought, okay, awesome. You know, airdrop, right? Awesome, cool, thanks, appreciate it. When they changed it up somehow and it went from one to whatever, I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. I didn't pay for any of that, right? So this whole idea of a project wants to give you something and it costs you nothing to get it other than claiming it somehow and somehow feeling wrong when they change that amount just seems crazy to me. It just seemed crazy. And I think for me, the most part, when I heard Kimes um, talking about it, nothing about it seemed sincere to me. Like nothing he said seemed sincere. I mean, he was the one who brought up the stupid taxes and all of these things that for the just made zero sense in the bigger scheme of things. In the bigger scheme of things, it just made any sense, right? But anyway, I digress. I mean, it's interesting that Jake brought that up like early in that interview. He was like, explain that, what they did, and he talked about that, right, and what they did and why they pivoted in that interview. If you guys didn't catch it, Jake Claver interviewed him. I think is he runs Ascension Group? Is he head manager, market over there? I'm not really sure, but in any case, right? Miguel says Hugo kept changing dates of flare drops like 10 times, and after 2 years decided to change airdrop amount XRP. But why does that matter, bro? Like, why does it matter that he changed it 10 times? Like, why does it matter? Track startups. Like go track a startup and see how many times they pivot and they change dates and they adjust. It's a startup, bro. This is what they do. That's what startups do. Like, why does it matter? They're still here. They're still here, right? Coming up on that 10-year. Aren't they coming up on I don't know, is it 7 years? I don't know how long it's been. But they're still here. That's what's important. But if we can just wrap our mind around these projects are startups. They're not like freaking Swede coming from Facebook, even though technically that's a startup. But right, it's a startup. Hugo was some kind of, he was an employee at one time. I mean, the dude was an employee. An employee. I mean, like, what are you expecting? Like, really? What are you expecting from a dude in a team that were employees and then they decided to start something? Like, what do you expect? To get it right the first time? I don't understand it. You expect them to get it right the first time? I've been around CEOs my whole life. You expect them to get it right the first time? They just don't. My whole adult life. My whole adult life. Does that make sense? Yeah. Ever since I was 19. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Payment XRP. He rewarded those actually participating in the network, and I love it. That was a big, big, big move. It was very, very smart. Again, learning from the lessons of the past of past airdrops, right? Because that the airdrop thing became a lot of people were manipulating that stuff, right? But I would tell you to study startups, track them, watch YouTube, and see how many times they pivot and change their mind and say one thing and it doesn't happen that time. It's That's the life of a startup. It's what it is. Especially if you've never been a CEO of anything before, you can rest assured. you can count on it. You can leverage along that they're going to make mistakes. They're going to set a date and not execute and not come up with the full product at that date time. All of that stuff. It's a startup. They're figuring it out. That's true too, Joe. Joe's has a great point. Unless anyone invested their own money into Flare, who has anything to say? The exchanges that stole the Flare drops, are the sad story in that affair. Are there still? I know Celsius is because they're in the bankruptcy, but are there still others that haven't distributed those Flare tokens? That's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. All right, let me share these clips, man. And again, I just as I say this out of love because people are wallowing in frustration instead of looking to what's coming and what's currently being built out. Right? Is this whole wallowing in this frustration like that's over? Like it's over. Hopefully, you were able to get your FLR. Look, right. Hopefully, you're able to get yours. I could wallow in the fact that I have nearly multiple six figures of FLR that I don't have. It's not mine. I'm not in possession of it. I'm pretty sure that's more than 90% of people that got airdropped. Pretty sure. I'm excited about what Flare Networks is doing. Excited, right? But I want to share these clips from Crypto Eddie. I don't know if you paid attention. I read that post from Hugo, and I was like, he was talking to Crippen, right? He was like, this reason and this reason, and then he mentioned this company here. Let me share it from Crypto Eddie. Let me find it. And I thought it was a company. I thought it was a statement. I thought it was a sentence. I didn't think he was talking about a company. All right. Let me see if I can find Crypto Eddie's. I'm pretty sure I shared her, saved hers. Let me find it. I hope this is this. Oh, that's curated clip 2. Oh, what's up, Eddie? You got two clips. All right. Eddie's got 2 clips. Let me go find her thing. All right. Let me make sure. Curated clip 2. All right, there it is. Let's go to Crypto Eddie's thing. All right. Hope you guys are paying attention to this. There's some good stuff here for my guy, co-founder of More Markets. If you were hanging out on the channel, we did a live stream. We looked up More Markets. We joined their wait list. All right. So this is, I don't want clip 2. Let's go to the first clip. All right. Maybe it's XRP Ledger, Flare Networks, Ethereum, or Sui Network, and bring that yield back to you on the XRP Ledger. That was from him. At the end of the June launch, More Markets will be the hidden roads for the XRP retail users. What did I say? Decentralized prime broker. Let's take a listen to this. This is the co-founder here. Turning idle tokens like XRP and Bitcoin into productive assets. Earn yield while staying on the native chain. We went to their website. We joined. We shared it with the community in a live stream. Check this out.
Hi, I'm Altan. I'm one of the founders of More Markets. More Markets is a platform that takes idle tokens like XRP, brings them to other markets where we can earn yield and bring the yield back to the user on the XRP ledger as XRP.
You're a person that is looking at all the different ways to generate yield. And so you're using the digital asset XRP or RLUSD to be that asset that you decide as a manager, something like Hidden Roads might do?
Correct. Yeah, so Hidden Roads guys are bigger than us. Obviously, they've been around for a while, and they've been doing this for Ripple and other institutions. Right, we work for the retail users that come in, maybe put $10, $50 of XRP. We go out there, let that be maybe XRP Ledger, Flare, Ethereum, maybe even Sui, and then we generate the yield for you. We vet those sources. We make sure that they're secure. Everything is audited and everything is done. Like we've done this the team has done it at Near Protocol. The team has worked in banks before, like Deutsche Bank, Nomura. And we bring the yield back to you on the XRP Ledger. So that's, we're almost like a smaller version of Hidden Road.
This is what I'm talking about. And look, this is going to be really, really good, I think, and promising for the XRP holders that like to have that deft grip on their XRP, right? It's going to be really, really good for those, right, who dare not do DeFi. This is going to be really, really good for them. It's really, really good. You don't have to ask how the AMM's working. Right? You don't have to ask, where's the yield coming from? You don't have to, you won't have to deal with all that. You're not gonna have to deal with all that. It's gonna be good for you. All right, let me share this.
First for XRP. So we can take.
Many XRP holders are interested in what Flare is doing, and I'm sure they're going to be interested in what you are doing. And if you are the coordinator, maybe between the XRP, the digital asset, and possibly being able to provide that service for them to also utilize what's going on Flare. Can you explain to everyone how that might work?
Yes, so we see Flare as one of the demand centers for XRP. So we can take XRP on our.
We see Flare Networks as one of the demand centers for XRP. What did Hugo talk about? Being that super DApp. Well, people like More Markets and Firelight and SparkDex can come and provide value to XRP holders, Bitcoin holders, Doge holders, etc., etc. Remember, Hugo, let us not forget, Pookie, that Hugo said FAssets might not even be in the top 10 of exciting projects or products on Flare Networks. It might not even be in the top 10. That's crazy when you think about it.
Our front end. And you don't have to worry about any of the the bridging, any of the complex stuff that blockchains require. And we decide, let's say, this is the best demand center for XRP. We put it into work for you, and then we bring the yield back to the XRP ledger. So you don't have to do all the going out of XRP ledger yourself, which is a bit complicated, and also taking it back to the XRP. So you'll be earning XRP on the ledger itself while your assets put to work on the Flare blockchain.
So everybody's trying to really improve their own TVL. So in that scenario, when you are assisting the transfer, if you will, of the digital asset to be utilized onto Flare, who gets credit for that TVL?
So the TVL mainly will be locked in XRP ledger.
The TVL will mainly be locked in the XRPL. Do you understand? Now, Flare's going to get some of that TVL as well, but it will be mainly locked on the XRPL. Do you understand? This is because what Flare Networks is building out. The more people trying to bring value to the retail, to the retail XRP holder, the better. Flare Networks, some other network, it don't matter. To me, I just want more of them. She knew to ask that question because people are going to want to know. Well, if it's not on the XRPL, it's not on the XRPL. We got one guy keeps talking about keeps what is that, mid curving? This dude just keeps mid curving. I'm like, bro, why? Well, if you trade your XRP for FXRP, it ain't yours anymore. And if it ain't on the ledger, it's not XR. Like, what are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Don't overthink this thing. You mint some FXRP, you can redeem it. You don't care about paying Ethereum fees. My land, I was moving just I don't know, 3-4K of Bitcoin. Like it was like I have to pay you just money just to use the protocol, bro. And guess what I did? I paid the fees to use the protocol. In other words, Ethereum is hard, but people are still using it. Why are you mid-curving about whether or not when you mention FXRP, did I just sell my XRP? Is my XRP gone? Did I just sell it? Is that what I'm doing? I'm selling it? What's going on? Is it still on the XRPL? Or is it on Flare? Is it still on XRPL? Is it on Flare? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, seriously. It's mid-curving. As my mentor used to say, people who let little things rob them of big things. Right? People who let little things cheat them out of big opportunities. Miss CryptoCeej had to correct me. Right? Do you understand? Like, what are you talking about, bro? This is going to be great for the people who got them death grips on that ledger. It's going to be great. If you understand what he's talking about right here. Did you hear that? That TVL mainly is going to be locked on the XRPL. That's what we want. Right? Look, the stuff that Ripple is trying to bring on chain with these different protocol and features is coming. It's coming from the Ripple X dev team. It's coming. Flare Networks is further along. And I don't know. Does it feel like it's further along than the XRPL EVM sidechain? I'm asking for a friend. Does it feel like? I'm asking. Does the FAssets version 1.1, does it feel like it's further along than this XRPL EVM sidechain? I'm just, you tell me. I don't know. But it feels like FAssets is further along. I don't know. Feels like it. I wonder, I don't know, but I wonder the participation. If you compare if you compared the participation of the Songbird, which is real money on a network, compared to the XRPL EVM sidechain testing participation, what do you feel like there was more? I don't know, but what do you feel like there was more participation? Again, I don't know the test net beta. I don't know. I don't know. I would love to hear what you guys think. If you tested both, if you participated in the testnet of the XRPL EVM sidechain, and you hopped on Songbird and did the first time they met it, and you did this second time with version 1.1, well, which one felt easier to access and participate? You let me know in the chat, in the comments of the video. All right. That's a good question, Eddie.
Credit for that TVL.
But the TVL mainly will be locked in XRP Ledger. So, but then also there's another version that goes to Flare. So if you put that into a Flare contract, that also will have increase in Flare's TVL too. So it almost like benefits. If you really care about XRP and Flare, you would benefit both of those ecosystems at the same time.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I can't wait for that full interview. And there's more, by the way, there's more coming. There are more people coming to tap into the liquidity and the low hanging fruit that is the XRPL community. I hope you see it. That's right, Rick Cisneros. That's a great point. Rick Cisneros says what's important is Flare Networks is still in business and growing even from their early mistakes. Absolutely. So Miguel says that Nexo didn't distribute it, FTX didn't, Celsius did not, and Voyager. Isn't it interesting that all of the ones that went kind of down or under didn't do it? It's interesting. I'm surprised that Voyager didn't distribute the airdrop because, or was it FTX? Oh, FTX. FTX has been so much on this rebounding and, what is the word? Repaying back most of the people. That's not the word I want, repaying, but, coming as close as humanly possible to making those people whole. There must be some kind of concern about the airdrop. I know in the Celsius case, there was all this. The judges, courts, the regulators were so concerned about doing something outside of compliance, regulatory compliance. The reason why everyone's assets in the Celsius case was sold into Bitcoin and Ethereum is because the judge and the regulators and whoever who was the lady who was forget what they call her, but she gets appointed by the judge. They all were like, Cardano might be a security, EOS might be a security, This might be a security. We want to stick with the things that we're pretty certain we've gotten some kind of word that they're not securities, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so they sold everybody's stuff to Bitcoin and Ethereum just to get through that hurdle because they wanted the process to move along. And so I don't know what's going on with the FLR tokens. I do know that an attorney got on X and publicly stated that they're trying to do this. He believes that they may be trying to do this thing where if you don't put in an official claim for the asset, that they have some kind of legal right to those assets because you didn't put in your claim for it. You have to do that through the courts handling the case or whoever's handling the case for the particular company. Like for us, it was Celsius, and it was certain people we had to put that claim in by way of Celsius. Stretto, right? So every one of those will have those as well. And so I think that is the major hangup because Hugo has officially said publicly that they sent the FLR to the people who were eligible to get the XRP holders who were eligible to get that FLR. They sent it to them. I don't know what the estate is doing with that FLR, but I know I put a claim in for it with the documentation of how much I was supposed to be getting into the Stretto people because an attorney said that he believed that those estates are going to, you know how companies rely on the fact that you're not going to be willing to go through enough of the hoops to get the thing that you're entitled to get. And so they kind of bet on that. And so I think that's might be the case with these estates that they're counting, I don't know if they're hoping, but maybe they're counting on the fact that you're not going to take the necessary steps to make the claim of your FLR tokens. But I will say this. Now that we have a different regulatory environment, and I would also say if we get that structure bill that says these are securities and these are utility tokens and if we get that structure bill sometime in 2026, it'll be easier to do it. It'll be easy. They can't. The airdrop tokens were never officially the estates, right? They were never just because they hold them, they were never officially theirs. Now, some might say if they hold them, it's theirs, but they were just supposed to be the airdrop. And by the way, there's a legal document submitted to the courts for the Celsius people anyway. A legal document submitted to the courts that the estate agreed to, which is essentially Flare Networks being willing to give Celsius FLR tokens if they gave the XRP holders who were deserving of Flare tokens their Flare tokens. That's a legal document in the court case. So there's that. So Rick Cisneros says, I can see in the future AI agents taking over, has to decentralized prime broker and do all the work to minimum. Yeah, and Hugo's talked about that as well, Rick. These AI agents being able to do a lot of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward. I can tell you that. So let me see what else I want to share. I think I've been rambling long enough. Yeah, hour and 24 minutes. Oh, that's Crypto Eddie. Yeah, I think so. Let me see something. Yep. All right, fam. Yeah, that is all for tonight. I appreciate you guys checking in. It's been a really, really cool hang. I got to tell you, make sure Crypto Eddie's going to drop that full interview, I'm sure, soon. You can check that interview out. That guy was the co-founder of More Markets. And it's looking like they are. It's looking like they are the entity that's going to be the decentralized prime broker, the hidden road like project on Flare networks. That's what it's feeling like, for sure. And so I'm really, really excited about that as a retail person, getting access to TradFi stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how that looks out. Of course, we're going to know about, we'll look into the custody, and I'm sure it's going to be some form of non-custodial. Well, I'm not sure, but it's looking like it's going to be that. We'll see what it ultimately ends up looking like. And in all these things, it's still only portions, right? It's still only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10% of your XRP, right? It's only right. It's still only that in my house, right? It's still that. It's not all my XRP in one project, hoping to get risking it all for 5% yield. Like, how does that make sense? Risking it all for 5% yield. That doesn't make any sense. Right? What's going on, Trey? Trey says, I just got in. Man, you have to check that replay, bro. I'm ready to hop off, brother. Just got in, but what would the purpose of FAssets be if the protocol managed wallets enter the fold? Well, the FAssets is a protocol. The protocol managed wallets, I believe Hugo mentioned that there won't be a need for something when we get the protocol managed wallets, but I can't remember what that is, Trey. You may be correct in your thinking there. I can't remember what he said, but he did say there was not going to be a need for a thing when we got the protocol managed wallets. But I can't remember what it is. All right, fam. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys checking in. It's just been fun. It's a nice back and forth with everyone. I definitely appreciate that, for sure. It's been a really, really cool hang. Do me a favor, if you didn't get a chance to hit that like button on the way in, no worries. Just hit it on the way out. That'd be awesome. That helps to get the channel out to more people that are hanging out on YouTube, watching videos of dogs protecting their little babies, their little human babies, their little toddler humans. It's one of the cutest things ever when you see it. It's cutest thing ever. Cutest thing ever. All right, fam. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. And if you happen to be in that 55% or so of people that are hanging out, listening to and watching the CryptoCeej, do me a favor. If you've been enjoying those hangouts, please consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. Yes, by the way, that old money doesn't want you to win merch is out. Check the link in the description if you want to be if you want to join that movement. If you understand that the system has been rigged against you and you know it, and you want to let them know that you know it, and you have an answer to it. You have an answer to it because you're playing chess over here in crypto and DeFi. Grab that old money doesn't want you to win merch, and let the world know what's good. All right, fam. Do me a favor and hit that notification bell so that you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. I'm going to end this one like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this or perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya. Bye.